when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego disobeyed the king and did not bow down to the golden statue, the king was enraged, and he told his soldiers to make the furnace 7 times hotter than usual. Now, this was not just an ordinary furnace, it was a furnace used for industrial purposes where they would bake bricks and where they would melt the metals. So, the furnace was made 7 times more hotter, and they were tied up. The 3 men were tied up, and the soldiers threw them into the furnace. And those soldiers, the furnace was so hot that they died, those soldiers who were throwing them in. And the king was watching intently. So he looked intently and he said, "Did we not throw down 3 people? But I see 4 people walking in the furnace, and they are loose, their ties, their hands and legs are loosened, and they are walking merrily like in a garden in the midst of the fire." And the person who's there, the 4th person, he looks like the son of the gods because he looked supernatural. And then he shouted at them, "Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, come out of the fire." And they came out, and it was found that their clothes were not burned, their hair was not singed, and there was no smell of fire upon them. So, up till now, the king had believed that his gods were more powerful than the God of the Jews. But then he understood now that Yahweh is the most superior God, and his gods are nowhere near compared to God Yahweh. And we can apply this to our situation, and we must learn that in every situation we can trust God. Even if there's an atom bomb explosion, our God knows how to protect his own children and to keep them safe if that is his will for them. So we have many problems and many trials on this world, but we must realize that every trial, it has a destination, an eternal destiny, an eternal purpose, and we must thank the Lord that we are in his hands and not in any human hands. Now, this all has a prophetic significance. So, in the last days, in the tribulation period, a Gentile ruler will come and he will demand worship for himself, worship that belongs to God. And 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 4 tells us that this ruler will exalt himself over everything that is called God and worship, and that he will set himself up in God's temple, proclaiming himself to be God. This refers to the man of lawlessness or to the Antichrist. And in Revelation chapter 13 and verse 15, we find it says like this. It says, "The second beast," that is the false prophet, "will be given power to give breath to the image of the first beast," that is the Antichrist, so that the image will speak and breathe, and it will force everybody to worship the image of the beast or be killed. And Revelation chapter 13 and verse 7 says, "It was given power to wage war against God's holy people." Who? The Antichrist was given power to wage war against God's holy people, and it was given authority over people of every tribe, tongue, language, and nation. So, the Antichrist will get religious power in his hands, and his ultimate aim is to get political power and oppress Israel. So most of the people in the world, including most of the Israelites, they will submit to the Antichrist and worship the image of the Antichrist. But a few small group of people the remnant, you can call them, of Israel and of the world who believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. They will refuse to bow down to the idol of the Antichrist and worship the Antichrist. So many who do not worship the Antichrist image will be beheaded. But God is faithful. He will deliver this remnant of the people who are faithful to Him. He will deliver them from the persecution of the Antichrist by coming down to the earth to deliver them. So, in the coming tribulation period, God will save this believing remnant, what He did to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego by protecting them in the fiery furnace. He will protect His bride, the church, and before the persecution is too much, He will rapture them and take them to heaven to live with Him forever and ever.